Hey there, welcome back. Mari's here, and today we have Starfield, and let's talk about weapons, specifically ship guide. So I want to have a separate discussion about it, and I'm gonna tell you everything: what type, where, how to calculate, what to get, and even give you the. Of course, we're gonna go to the spreadsheet so I can explain everything, so you know absolutely everything about the weapons, and you have never ever questions about it again. Before that, I'm gonna give you a demonstration. I am currently in a backend. I have the save where I'm jumping on Crimson Fleet planet. So I'm gonna face a lot of enemies. So this is the best place, as far as I can tell, where constantly you can have enemies. And let me show you how and what you can achieve with your ship, any ship. There is a random chance of high level enemies, and well, this is absolutely not high level, but currently I am flying without, and I'm killing enemies. Ooh, we have high level. That's good, that's good. I'm gonna shoot the little ships down. I have automatic turrets. That's one of the things I will highly advise to get. Oh sorry, I just need to look at the direction. And ooh, someone is trying to avoid. I am a little bit sitting at the side. Oh, sorry. All of them are dead. They are all shredded. And I'm sitting, so you can see I had half of my shield down. So, you know, it was a tough fight. I was not even shooting. So let's recapture what we just saw. And at that side of the screen, you see I have all three particle weapons, right? Let me jump to Neon City, and we'll talk and discuss the weapons from the building perspective, so we can see what's there, what can be purchased, right? You know what? From other hand, I told you I'm gonna show you where to get it. So those who don't know, let's use this opportunity to just show you once again. This is Alpha Centauri, and you need Vol E or Vol 2, I don't know how to pronounce it. In this system, you find this Alpha, and there is a Neon City, where at the first there's Starfield, landing pad, but then there's a core, and I'm gonna show you directly where to find, because I was a bit confused. This is quite big city, and there's more levels and layers, and yeah, where to go. So once you land, this is the elevator that picks you up. At one side you have Trade Authority, at the other side you have Sigward's Outfitters. Go just next to it, a bit harder to find, but another orange, and go there. Why I'm going there? Because not every weapon is available in every spaceport or shop where you can land. So this is, I know for sure I can have, and all three weapons I have equipped is there. And easiest way how I can demonstrate it, I can add more. Basically the game allows me to copy. So these are the three beauties I am currently showing you, and if you haven't noticed, they all are particle weapons. So one by one, what we have is Auto Alpha Turret. Well, you have the naming and everything at that side of the screen. Particle weapon, then another Obliterator, again turret, not with auto but just Alpha turret, different naming, different manufacturer actually. And then the last one is manual. This one I shoot myself, so this is manual. I could install all three automatic, and then I just look at the direction of enemies and absolutely destroy them. So I will dump everything I know and what I have read and what I have tested. So first of all, automatic turrets are great, but their rotation, what side they are directed is important. For example, you can pick up a turret and switch, let's say, this side. They all have, I read, 80-degree angles, so they can't even shoot directly at the side, so this turret will never ever shoot enemies in front of me. So it is important, you can't just, there is no 360 rotation happening. So this is important, that's why I have all them facing front. So I have, when I'm flying around, I just point at that direction and they immediately start shooting when they are in their shooting cone. That's one thing. That's regarding turrets. Another cool thing about why particle weapons, there are many reasons. Let me bring up all, I'm not covering the whole screen and everything. So we have weapons. There's 4 types of weapons: ballistic, laser, missile, and particle beam. The last ones, there's also electromagnetic that disable things. They are not kind of weapons, they're just, let's call them stun guns, and best way to disable enemy is to kill it. So let's go that route. Long story short, if you mouse over, you can read all that data at that side. Once you see the ballistic weapons, you see the range. The range is 800 up to 1000, which is, well, sounds great, but when you find a laser weapons, well, some of them, well, laser weapons are also quite short range, and then you find missiles that fire up to 4 kilometers away, and particle beams, where are they? Proto beam, 3000, more-ish, or a bit more. Some of them was 3,250, doesn't matter, it's about 3 times or even more than that longer distance. So automatically you are literally have a choice: short distance, where you can't do anything if enemy has the longer distance weapons, or you have longer range. So 2 of them automatically are kind of out of picture because the reasons they are not even with that great firepower to begin with when you start to dig in the data. So ballistic and laser weapons are out of the picture right away. Then you have 2 choices: missile or particle beam. The missile, as I said, and let's scroll down. One of the also truths you have to know about this game: the more expensive weapon is, basically the better it is. It's quite simple. There is no magic golden something where you pay little and get the best. Basically, the more expensive it is, for example, this is the one I am wielding myself. You see the price tag? You see it? Simple as that. And this is not the one I am shooting. There was, yeah, some others. So, you know, it's quite simple from that sense. When you purchase premium money, you will get premium output. Of course, there are a little nuances, so we'll get to them in a moment. So, I think it's easier. Yeah, this is not very friendly way to look at the things. Yeah, also I need to point out at that side, you see, some of them require Starship Design, and of course they are different class. You can't have super awesome weapons in Class A. Remember, A, B, C, 3 classes. A is the basic, C, B and C you have to purchase. Should I? You know where to purchase, from the skill tree. Fine, I'm gonna show you quickly because, you know, let's not skip anything. Once you go under skill, under tech, there is dump wherever points you want. When you need to get the Starship Design, this is the 3rd row. But in the piloting, B and C classes are unlocked in rank 3 and rank 4 in piloting. All right, that's beyond the scope of this video because we are talking about weapons, ship guide. Right. So back at weapon choices. So once that out of the way, you always want to look at B or C range class. A is the lowest. Some of them are from B class are quite good. And then, as I mentioned, when you look and you see there is, oh, sorry, side turret at the end, that is automatic. You basically cannot trigger, cannot shoot, you cannot mine these asteroids because auto turret is just ignoring them, and you cannot command them to stop as far as I can tell. So as you saw, they shred all enemies. If you want to board on enemy ship, that's basically you have to power down to stop the turret. That's how you can stop from shooting, so you can disable the engine and on board and steal the ship, right? So that's also one thing to keep in mind. Maybe you want to go with one auto turret and two manually triggered weapons. That's also a choice. So all that is cool and nice, but these numbers, let's dig into the data. You see at the bottom of your ship where you have all the information, there is type of weapon you have equipped. You have 3 slots basically, but you can go with 2 or even 1 if you want to. No reason to do that, but you can do that. And another thing is, you see we have a number 79 and 352 and 100. Like, what gives? It immediately gives you the sense that the second weapon currently shows the highest number, so this is the best, and that other weapon is absolute garbage. And if you can check, you can see this Helion auto Helion beam has 79 rating, and then this obliterator alpha turret has way more. So what gives? What this is about? Let me explain in simple way. This user interface is absolutely unfriendly. What the numbers show is literally damage done. You see this one number that shows how much damage one shot can do from that particular weapon. When you multiply more of them, it calculates together and show you the overall number. What this does not take into account is fire rate, because let's take 2 examples. This one, I have 1.5, which means fully engaging, I shoot one every 1.5 seconds. So in 3 seconds there will be 2 shots. Okay, that's how to explain. And then we look at this one. This shoots, or actually opposite, this shoots 4 times faster, so 4 shots in a second. I think that's how it's calculated. So it is way faster, despite the fact you see there's 330 damage only, but it fires almost, okay, almost 3 times faster than this weapon. We can find, for example, the missiles are absolutely easy to calculate. They shoot and fire rate is 1, so it's times 1. It's absolutely simple. The number you see shown here is damage per second. And for example, when we look at this number 30, you have to multiply it by 4, and then the total output by this one auto alpha beam is 120-ish something. Still not beating the missile, okay? But that's basically where this confusion starts in, and this is the moment absolutely needed. As you can see, I have all weapons maxed out. This is also important. And for those who don't know my channel, you know the drill, because we have to introduce you to Excel sheet. Trust me, I will explain it as simple as it can be, and trust me, you want to know this. So simple as it is, color coding is for types. So yellow, as you can see, is missile, green is particle beam, ballistic red. So it's simpler to understand where we stand. And yes, if you're looking closer, then the only laser weapon comes close to at 24th position. So that's beside the point. Here's all the titles, the names. You can precisely find what you want in the shop, in the store, in the game. Range, as I mentioned, we have missiles shooting at least 4,000 meters away. Then we have the particle beams quite close next to 3000 or 3250. And then when we look at the red, 1 kilometer, 1 kilometer 250, and laser about the same. So 2 long range, 2 short range, simple as that. Here is the tricky part. These numbers are from the data you can from the game that I just showed. We know the range, we know the fire rate, we know the hull damage and shield damage. They are separate because they are not equal. Again, one thing and why missiles and particle beams are better, in my opinion, they do the same damage for both. So if we find, for example, yeah, this is fine, ballistic weapon, you see 3 times, more than 3 times hull damage, but you know that you cannot shoot the hull before shooting down the shield. So this weapon is garbage against the shield. So okay, it's better here, but you know, in my opinion, I always try to go with the thing that works for everything. And you saw how easily it shreds through shield and then hull and basically destroy everything. And opposite side is the laser. Really awesome against the shield, but absolute garbage against the hull. We'll get to the point, we'll get back to it, but this is information what we can pull out and we see that is also shown in the stock. What is not shown is, remember I mentioned how easy it is to calculate for missiles, because there's one, fire rate is 1. So if I had for this missile launcher 264 damage to hull and shield, that is the damage per second I can output from this one weapon. And total opposite side, when we are talking about auto Hellion beam, the one I have installed on my ship, it shoots really small damage, but fire rate is 6 times higher. So you have to multiply. So you see this 19, which is the little number you saw on the rating. It actually, you can still see the 79 currently on that side of the screen. It is multiplied by fire rate, and game does not show this number. So from the whole chart, actually this little number, when multiplied by fire rate, is way more powerful than anything else. Well, but not anything else, but you see how it ranks up. That is the part, because we are talking about one installed weapon. Then the next thing is how much power that particular one weapon requires. And there are different variations, but most popular are 4 and 3 when we are talking about C-class guns. So in total, for one weapon slot, one weapon type, you have 3 types. For one, you can have up to 12 power used. So if this missile launcher, and as it uses 4 power, you can install maximum 3 of these types. So only 3 of them are allowed there, which now you can see is another multiplier that the game does not show you in any shape or form, because these numbers, damage per second, now you have to multiply how much you can have. For example, this is a good example. Let's take a look. You see this, let me highlight this. This missile launcher, it has 149 damage to hull and damage to shield. Sounds amazing. If we compare to this Hellion beam, these 2 weapons, it is way less. But the trick is, you can install 4 of these beauties on your ship and only 3 of these. And when you multiply full equipped hull damage and full equipped shield damage, the picture changes. And this lower level weapon, lower damage per second, actually outputs more than 3 of these. So you see, now we are coming close to the end. This, for example, weird ballistic high damage to hull, absolutely 2 times more damage to hull, but absolute garbage against the shield. So what I did is I calculated average full DPS And full is basically average from shield and hull, you know? So basically this one column is one number that represents how much damage per second on average to hull, to shield, fully equipped you can have. Boom. This is the list, and as you can see, it's already sorted out in order. By the way, yeah, this is a class and starship rank design required. So, for example, you see this ballistic, if you want to go that, it actually requires only class B and actually 0 star design. Or if you look at this particle beam, Vanguard, Obliterator, it's another interesting piece of equipment because you can't have it just right away. You need to be joined Vanguard. So if you join the Vanguard, you can do quite absolutely at the beginning of the game with 0 starship design rank and class A basic weapon. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th best weapon in the freaking game. So this guide is not, I think there's also a level requirement. So the game has a lot of items locked behind level. I don't have in this chart levels, what level you need to be, but you know how to calculate, and I will link in the description the whole sheet so you can find yourself and see what kind of class ship you have, what kind of starship design. Yeah, and then basically go to this to vendor and check if you actually have that weapon available, because if you are under level, if you're level 20 or something, you definitely will not have these beasts. The game is a little bit stupid from that side. Other games basically show everything and say no, this unlocks at level 40, this unlocks. This game is hidden, you don't see what you don't get. And only when you're past level 60, then basically everything is unlocked. This is another stupid thing. Anyways, now, well, all that summed up, it's simple as that. You can see if you go with high range weapons, then this red one goes out. If you don't want missiles, by the way, one of the reasons why you don't want missiles is if you go back, you can go back in video and see me shooting enemies down. You pay attention to the rectangle that shrinks down to enemy ships because it is a targeting system. Until it logs down to the ship and says target locked, your missile will not hit, most likely. Only if you're next to the ship you can just spam and basically shoot your missiles. But the thing is, the further enemy ship is, if you shoot the missile, enemy ship just goes away and your missile misses if you don't have that lock. Now, if you go back to my fighting scene and check how often this rectangle actually reaches the point where it's locked, where at that point most of the ships are already destroyed. When it's locked, that will be the time when you can shoot your missile. Where if you go with particle beams, that is the time when the ship is already dead. You see? So despite the fact that full huge output damage for missiles is higher, you have basically this waiting time when it locks. You can boost it up through the skills, of course. But you know what? You can just go with a little lower damage per second particle beam. Or if you are wondering why the hell, Marius, you have these in bold. If you pay attention closely, I try to show and highlight the ones that have turret. So these are the automatic weapons. And you see, automatic weapons, the ones I have actually, these two I have installed on my ship, they are lower damage than your manual beams. If you want to go manual, then you have these three to pick, which in total, let me just give you the quick calculations. In sum, I have cut it out from this view, but it shows 1,000, almost 300 freedoms per second when you shoot manually. When you switch to automatic 2 turrets automatic, 1 manual that I have selected is 1200. So you lose 1/13 of the damage, but you know what? You don't have to aim. You can maneuver, you can boost, you can engage with thrusters, you can do all the things, and basically your turrets automatically destroy enemies. So in my opinion, those automatic, that's the reason why I highlighted them, why I made them involved, because, you know, that's really powerful and automatic. So, you know, and now the last part of it, to fully capture how and what we have in our hands. Let me just for a moment close this all. We have all this damage and everything, but there is one more thing to add at the top of it. So when we switch back, let me use this. Unfortunately, there is obliterator alpha beam, and there is auto alpha beam, also obliterator, exactly the same. Only difference is auto. This is important. Do you want me to install it? I can install it. I think, yes. Okay, fine. I was not thinking I'm gonna do it, but fine, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it for you guys, of course. So let me get rid of that. And instead, we have this weapon, right? Yes, this is the one I already have installed. Let me install this other type where we have auto. And reason is quite simple. I don't think how many I can add, 4 or 3. I think 3, right? Because there's an error, obviously. Ship weapons. Oh, must assign. No. We got this. So first one. Obliterator. It's a turret. I have to change them. Yeah, fine. Don't worry. This is not planned. This is off the script. We'll place them, whatever. 2 of these, okay? Auto alpha beam, and without autos, just alpha beam. 2 and 2. To make it easier, right? And let's assign obliterator. The one is, where is it? Alpha beam, and then auto, and the last one will be this auto turret. Not gonna use the third one, but well, I need to have it assigned. So that out of the way. Last thing I need to explain is auto versus non-auto version, right? That's basically the core essence of it. Let's jump to the space. We don't need any enemies, anything. I will just shoot and show. So when you have non-auto, it's simple as that. I can zoom out. We don't need the speed. I can slow so it doesn't distract anything. So this is non-auto version. It's simple. You see the number. It shows 100 when I have it powered, not fully powered. Okay, let's have full powered. Only 2 options. So it shoots and reloads, all the time, every time, no questions asked. This is 1.5 second shot. It's quite powerful, it's quite cool, and it's so good. So that was non-auto version. When we have exact same weapon, but auto version, pay attention how it looks. It also has, it's on my mouse too, at that side, yeah. And so you see, it shoots way fast, really fast. But look what happens when it runs out of there. It basically has a full, let's call it a magazine. It shoots it all out. I will shoot once again. This is the really fast. This is where this high damage per second shows. But once it runs out, it refreshes and now shoots like a garbage. So there is a downtime between those reloads. Again, non-auto version, constant damage output DPS You see enemy, it shoots, simple as that. When you have this auto version, it shoots, it had higher damage per second, but it's burst damage. So once you're done shooting, in a while, for a moment, depends on how much power you have, it basically runs out. I just depowered this weapon. I will shoot out to 0 and let's see. You see how slowly, absolutely slowly it just generates. It's a huge downtime. If you take in account this downtime, these auto weapons don't have as high damage per second because it's burst damage. It basically shoots out everything, huge damage, and that's it. So the trick is simple. If you go back and play back my fighting scene, I had auto turret, non-auto turret, and auto weapon manually triggered. So basically 2 out of 3 weapons, I had these burst weapons. And the reason is quite simple. Let me explain the thing. You can go through the fight itself. You've been in a fight, it's quite simple. You have enemy in front of you. Remember, you have the cone in front of you. When enemy bypasses you or there's a fight, there will be constantly enemies switching positions. And another thing, when I have full speed and I have this boost enabled, what I'm currently doing, I'm basically running away. I have this skill where when I'm boosting, enemies can't shoot at me. So basically this is the time for me to regroup. Oftentimes it restarts my shield regeneration, and at that time your weapon, your burst huge weapon damage also can reload, how to say. So this is one thing to keep in mind. If for whatever reason you think constant firepower will be better, then go with the weapons that don't have auto in it, like these ones. It will constantly shoot, and that's it. But the thing is, these auto weapons have more damage per second, and when you're done shooting, you either will be running away, avoiding, turning around, or whatever, and you see, when you have enough power, they reload quite quick, so they are back online. So keeping in mind how often you shoot and don't shoot and shoot and don't shoot, these burst outputs don't even suffer from these reload times, right? So only when you have an enemy that you can shoot, like, I don't know how often, like really long, for a long period of time, and then your burst weapon runs out, then it's like, yeah, I better go with constant one. But otherwise, you can check the video. When enemy is in front of me with auto guns, turrets, everything, I can absolutely obliterate it. While I'm turning around, these auto weapons are reloaded, and I again can fully blast them with way higher damage. So in my opinion, those burst weapons are better because once you have such a high damage per second rate, nothing will be left after you run out of that power. I will just shoot both of them at the same time, you see? It was 1.5 fire rate against 6. It's 4 times. When this one shoots a shot, this already shot 4 times, right? And damage per second calculation is without these off times, right? So just let me check once again. If you bring up the data, this highest particle beam weapon is auto. This obliterator Vanguard is non-auto. No reason to don't have it highlighted. And then again, the third weapon is auto. Then this alpha turret is non-auto. So there's mix and match. So you can have constant output or burst output. But if you go with full damage, then yeah, auto, non-auto, auto, and turrets. Yeah, it's mix of both. take this information as you want. That's why we have this magazine's size, where, for example, non-auto version doesn't matter. There is no magazine. It shoots constant speed. These ones is the ones that how many shots you can do, and then you need to reload. So, you know, there's even more calculation. If you want to get nuts, you can multiply this times this, and then I don't know what to do with this number. 12,000 damage output, and only then it needs to reload. Anyways, you get the information. So you have all the information about the missiles, everything. Link in the description. Otherwise, for this sheet, you can just pause the video and just take a look. All the titles are there, the ranges, everything you can. Or you can jump on the Excel sheet if you want to and have this information and pick your best weapon you can have for this time being. Otherwise, I think I have explained everything. Also, yeah, I screw up my weapons for my ship, so I have to change them back. This is not what I want to have. Anyways, guys, suggestions, questions, anything, everything, always welcome. We don't have one-sided opinion, never ever. We always appreciate another side, another look. I don't have all the information. I'm not all-knowing gamer, but this is as far as I can tell, and I can give you the information so you can get best weapon for your ship build. I hope you learned something, and we will meet in those other videos where we discuss next awesome things I found and want to share with you. If you don't want to miss, you know, subscribing, liking always helps out little YouTubers like me. All right, cheers, guys.